For young MIT students, one failed idea, and one unbelievable comeback. They started with almost nothing but refused to give up. Then they built an AI company called Cursor, and within just a few years, their journey led to a shocking $60 billion deal with SpaceX. How did four young entrepreneurs turn failure into one of the biggest AI success stories in history? Stay with us, because this story will completely change the way you think about failure, ambition, and success. Imagine being in your early 20s. You leave MIT, one of the world's most prestigious universities. Your first startup idea fails. And then, just a few years later, your company becomes part of SpaceX in a deal valued at $60 billion. Sounds unbelievable, but this is the story of Cursor. For young founders, Michael Truel, Aman Sanger, Swala Asif, and Arvid Lundmark started AnySphere while they were still very young. Their first idea didn't work. Instead of giving up, they changed direction. They asked a simple question: what if artificial intelligence could become a real teammate for programmers? That question led to Cursor. Cursor wasn't designed to be just another chatbot. It was built to help programmers write code, understand complex projects, find bugs, make changes, and build software much faster. And then, AI exploded. As artificial intelligence became more powerful, developers around the world started searching for tools that could actually help them build software. Cursor was in exactly the right place at exactly the right time. This growth was extraordinary. A company that had once been worth only a few $billion eventually reached a valuation of nearly $30 billion. The young founders had gone from university students to some of the youngest billionaires in the technology world. But then came the biggest moment. SpaceX came calling. SpaceX is known around the world for rockets, satellites, and space exploration. But it was also investing heavily in artificial intelligence. And Cursor had something SpaceX wanted: powerful AI coding technology, a rapidly growing user base, and a talented engineering team. The relationship between the two companies grew stronger. And then came the announcement that shocked the technology industry. SpaceX agreed to acquire Cursor's parent company, AnySphere, in an all-stock deal valued at approximately $60 billion. Think about that. For young entrepreneurs, a failed first idea, one major pivot, and a company valued at $60 billion. But this story isn't really about money. It's about persistence. Their first idea failed. They could have quit. They could have decided that entrepreneurship wasn't for them. Instead, they learned from the failure. They changed direction, and they found a much bigger opportunity. That is one of the most important lessons for entrepreneurs. Your first idea doesn't have to be your best idea. Your first business doesn't have to succeed. And your first failure doesn't have to define you. Sometimes failure simply tells you, try another direction. Cursor's story also shows how quickly artificial intelligence is changing the business world. A few years ago, AI-assisted programming sounded futuristic. Today, it is becoming a powerful part of software development. And with SpaceX's enormous resources behind Cursor, the next chapter could be even more ambitious. Imagine a future where one developer can accomplish the work that once required an entire team. Imagine software being built in days instead of months. Imagine AI becoming not just a tool, but a true digital teammate. That future may be closer than we think. And it all started with four young people who were willing to admit that their first idea wasn't working. So here's the lesson. Don't be afraid of failure. Be afraid of refusing to learn from it. Because sometimes, the idea that fails today can lead you to the idea that changes your life tomorrow. For MIT students started with a failed idea. They pivoted. They built Cursor. And eventually, their company became part of SpaceX in a deal valued at $60 billion. Remember this: failure is not always the end of the journey. Sometimes, it's the beginning of something much bigger. And that is the incredible story of Cursor, from a failed idea to a $60 billion deal with SpaceX. But remember, the biggest lesson isn't the money. It's the decision to keep going when the first plan fails. Your first idea may fail. Your first attempt may not work. But that doesn't mean your journey is over. Sometimes, failure is simply redirecting you toward your breakthrough. If the story inspired you, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who needs to hear this message.